Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to another edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast, of course, part of the EKN Trackside live coverage that we bring to so many events throughout the season. It's March the 9th, 2021. This is episode 18. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, and the event that we're going to be looking at today, one that is really anticipated, a lot of excitement around it, the opening round of the United States Pro Kart Series down in Ocala, Florida, coming this weekend, March 12th to 14th. It's going to be a big one, record numbers. Of course, that's something that we will be talking about throughout this podcast. This podcast is brought to you today by the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. If you want to improve your results, it's time for professional instruction and coaching at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Located at the state-of-the-art Speed Sports Racing Park just north of Houston, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy offers custom coaching programs for newcomers and experienced racers alike. Train with a champion with over 30 years of racing experience to get proven results. Get ready for the big races by training with the best. Reserve your dates now by calling 866-607-7223. All right, David Cole, let's jump into this one here now. This is going to be a big event. I know you're heading down to Florida on Thursday, but a lot of talk over the last couple of months about people being excited about getting rolling with the USPKS. They had big numbers kind of to end the last season, capped off the 2020 program with a lot of momentum. And David, heading down to Ocala right now, record numbers for the first two races of what will be an 8-round championship program for 2021.
That's exactly it. They ended last year with the momentum, having the largest event in the 8-year history of the program. Now they're starting year 9 with what is going to be one is the largest karting event in some time. Compared when you're looking at nationally, comparing it to Superkarts USA, Rotax, Rock, these international almost events that we have. Not this isn't focused at club racers. This isn't it's a different scenario. This is a big one. This is what as you said, over the last couple of months, people have been talking about. Hey, this is going to be a big race. So and so's going. I'm going. So and so's going. This person's new to the program. This person's new to the program. So a lot of new faces, new teams that are going to be trackside in Ocala.
What do we say all the time, David? Numbers breed numbers, right? And as it got bigger and bigger, a little bit of FOMO. Nobody wants to miss out on being part of the action. So as we go through this OutLap podcast, again, our preview podcast is part of our EKN Trackside live coverage. We'll go through all the categories. We'll talk about some of the drivers that we expect to look good. We'll go back and look a little bit about 2020, the champion race winners, that kind of thing. But David, numbers breed numbers. People excited about being there, like you said. New drivers, new teams. A lot of people jumping on board. This is going to be an amazing race and a really great cross-section of top-level regional and national competition, especially here on the East Coast. David, let's jump into event notes. Let's talk about the track itself. The layout lined up here for the event at Ocala Grand Prix. The track's been around for a long time, over 20 years, repaved, though, back in 2009.
Yeah, it's been one of the destinations really throughout the winter months for not only the winter programs, but also now other programs, including the United States Pro Kart Series. This will be the third year that the program has visited Ocala. It went back to 2018 and 2019. Obviously, last year was left off the schedule as this event was scheduled right after the COVID-19 pandemic actually began. So. This is it's kind of just that it's a destination facility. It's hosted many international, national events over the years, really 2 decades long of constant racing at this facility.
You think about it, right? Yeah, Pro Tour races, Promoter, like Florida Winter Tour. This event, this track has had a lot of major events.
It has, and the one thing that's different from a lot of the other tracks that we go to is it's a smaller layout. It's only at, as you said, 6/10, 8 turns. This event will go in the counterclockwise direction. It's really like the Bristol of karting. Yeah. It's that short track mentality where you only have so many corners to make something happen. Where I would say probably 3 to 4 solid passing zones, and then the other ones are decide on the exit of a fast corner or drafting. And so a lot of the different things will come into play, especially with the large fields that we're going to have throughout this weekend.
Yeah, it makes things interesting. It is kind of the bull ring of our sport to a certain extent at 0.6 of a mile. And those passing opportunities, David, all coming essentially in slower hairpin corners, right? There's the tree corners where you've got the back-to-back hairpins, especially going in the counterclockwise direction. You come out of those hairpins with a short straightaway into the tree turn, the right-hander. That's, again, a pass where you dive down the inside of somebody, it opens up. When you dive down the inside there, you get a little bit less of a run out of the corner. Potentially, you can get passed into the inside of the sweeper by the grid area in the grandstands. But again, you can defend to the inside there, and that sets up for a potential run down the straightaway. It's an interesting racetrack for sure.
Yeah, the hairpins certainly are the prime real estate when it comes to making a pass, but you can pass at every single one of these corners because, again, you get a good run off one of the other corners into the other, and drafting is obviously going to be key down the front straightaway into turn one. You can sometimes see a pass into turn two, depending on how you guys get through, how the field gets through turn one. So it makes for exciting laps because every little 10th counts, and that's going to be very key in qualifying when we get into the weekend.
You're taking the flight from Grand Rapids and then end up in Orlando on Thursday. What's the schedule look like when you guys roll out there on Friday?
Yeah, Friday will be reduced down to 4 rounds of practice with the larger fields. They're separating 3 of the 7 categories into 2 different groups just for practice alone on Friday.
Okay, makes sense.
So they'll give a couple minute extra sessions. So it'll be very similar to the same amount of time they would have had with 5 rounds a session per class, but so they're going to reduce it down to 4 rounds to kind of eliminate that between sessions downtime that you typically have with pickups or just getting the carts on and off the racetrack. So round 4 will be the happy hour. So we'll have Tim Coyen on the mic for that for the last round on EKN Live. And then Saturday and Sunday we get into racing. Round 1 begins again. This is something that is different from the last couple of years. The last couple of years, we've only had 3 rounds of racing, or 3 events, 6 rounds. This will be the first of 8 rounds now for 2021 because we're moving to 4 events. So that's something that we're going to keep an eye on because it's now a best of 7 championship where it was the count all 6 the last couple of years. So again, it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. As we talked about with the large numbers, this is going to be the first time we ever see last chance qualifiers. So we're going to have a warm-up, a qualifying. We're going to have a pre-final, 16 laps pre-final. So nothing too long because, again, Ocala is a short track. So we'll get those in. For those categories, those 3 categories, and we'll talk about those later, that are going to be split up. They'll have 2 different pre-finals for each category, and then take the top 16 and go into the main event, and the rest will race in an LCQ. Right now they have 15 laps, but that's penciled in. They could change the amount of distance depending on time and things that transpired during the day, but the finals will be about 22 laps for the senior, masters, and junior categories, with the cadet divisions going 20 laps. So we'll do all that on Saturday and then repeat it again on Sunday for round 2.
And it should not go without being noticed, David, that we've got the biggest grids, the biggest fields, and the smallest racetrack in national karting, right? So it's not like you can put everybody on the racetrack at once and have big fields. Because the track's so short, you don't want that lap traffic to play a factor. So there's only so many guys that can make the main.
That's exactly it, and it's yeah. With Ocala, they're even splitting up on qualifying to help give more track time. All categories are going to be split up. So those with the over 36 or over 40 numbers, they're going to be split up into 4 different groups for qualifying.
But before we shut down here, just to think about that in terms of time, track time, it's lap times. What's the weather going to be like? I haven't had a chance to look. Have you looked forward at weather yet?
Oh, it's picture perfect for the weather. It's going to be in the 80s. So far, no chance of the precipitation, but again, with being in Central Florida, it
never
can pop
know.
up. And that's exactly what happened back in 2019. We had a quick little storm, really heavy storm pop up, and literally it stormed for about 5 minutes and then went away. and then we continued on racing once the lightning passed.
Well, listen, folks, we're going to go to our first break in the action here on the EKN OutLap. Again, episode number 18, as David and I have a look at the upcoming weekend's race at the USPKS opener at Ocala. When we get back, we're going to dive into the numbers, because the numbers obviously big part of the story for this weekend's event, as they hit a record of 287, up a ton from the GoPro opener in 2020. Stay with us, folks. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. The World Karting Association is the only organization on the globe that can provide you with 3 forms of karting, all at one event. Our historic WKA Daytona Kart Week was completed just before the new year began, welcoming record numbers. If you missed out, or if you're excited for the same atmosphere and competition, then add the Charlotte Karting Challenge presented by Summit Racing Equipment to your 2021 racing schedule. All 3 of the national championship programs will be competing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway on April 15th and the 18th in Concord, North Carolina. The Vega Manufacturers Cup Series is hosting 3 straight days of racing inside the famed Charlotte Oval. Our Vega Road Racing Series will tackle the complete Roval portion of the facility, while the Maxxis Speedway Dirt Series will take to the dirt track at Charlotte in a special 2-day event. No matter your age, no matter the discipline, the WKA Charlotte Karting Challenge has a place for you to compete at America's home for racing. Learn more about all 3 programs at worldkarting.com. The World Karting Association, the foundation of motorsports. Experience and passion. That's what led to the launch of AMAX Racing. Owner Charles Maxwell began AMAX Racing in 2015, expanding the operation in 2019 with a focus on driver development for racers of all age groups and backgrounds. From top-level drivers to grassroots racers or families looking for a team that will help them achieve their goals, AMAX Racing can guide you with the absolute best trackside service at affordable prices. No matter the chassis, AMAX Racing welcomes you and has the experience to put you on the top of the podium. You can join the AMAX Racing family in 2021 at the Cup Karts North America, United States Pro Kart Series, and WK Manufacturers Cup Series, along with selected local events at Whiteland Raceway Park and Newcastle Motorsports Park. For more information, contact them at 317-437-5886 or find them on Facebook. AMAX Racing, all of your karting needs under one tent. Welcome back to the EKN OutLap, episode 18 of the show. This one focusing on the opening round of the United States Pro Kart Series. This edition of the OutLap brought to you by the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. And David, this is the time in the show where you and I have a look at the numbers. One of the key components, and I think one of the beauties of the USPKS program, is the limited number of classes, only 7 categories on the lineup for this series. 223 entries last year, amidst the COVID kind of shutdown restrictions to start the season off at GoPro. But David,
end the season.
Oh, end the season.
Yes.
To start this season though, 287 entries for this race at Ocala. What a way to start the season, and what a way to get some major momentum rolling.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm matching the numbers up with last year's finale, because as we talked about, the momentum continued to carry once the season began in Newcastle for USPKS after the COVID downtime, the quarantine time. The numbers continued to grow. So last year's GoPro race was the largest ever in the program, and then you go and start off this year with going, 64 more entries than what was at GoPro last year.
Yeah, but David, look at the numbers. It's so weird that you see the growth in all the numbers, but Junior and Pro, X30 Junior and Pro, exactly the same as last year. Is that real? That's what
the numbers show, and
that's so wild.
But again, we've kind of hit on this a little bit more, and it's good to see the cadet divisions are growing. That's the one major plus in all of this. That has transpired. No matter what program we've gone to, we're seeing the cadet numbers grow. So micro and mini are up 12 each. That is huge. So 24 new racers compared to the series finale last year. So that's huge. That's amazing, and that's good for the future of our sport because again, they can't go anywhere until they get to 12 years old, right?
Well, and the other obviously big numbers in KA 100, we're seeing that class just show so well across the country. 48 drivers, up 17 in junior, up 18 drivers in KA 100 senior. David, the biggest class of the weekend, 60 karts in KA 100 senior.
Well, and it's a combination of guys doing double duty, guys that have elected not to race X30 Pro, and then or just people who are more comfortable with what the K100 package has to offer. And so that, when I talked about national event, this is a national event, but it allows those regional racers or those top club guys to be like, you know what, I want to try my hand at this. And that's the one thing about the K100 program. There's not a big difference between the fastest and the slowest. That's the one major pinpoint that you see with this category. You see it a little bit, you see that margin between the fastest and the slowest grow as you get into the quicker categories, because again, it takes a lot more skill, a lot more dedication, a lot more effort into making it quick and consistent every lap. So it's a little bit easier with the K100 division. But again, it's just that combination of everybody wanting to go where the big number is. And that's essentially where the big numbers have been all season long.
Yeah, good field in the X30 Masters class as well. 5 additional entries from last year's finale at GoPro, 25 in total for X30 Masters. David, a quick look at the X30 Junior and Senior. As I had said, no change from last year, 39 in Junior, 38 in Pro. So exactly the same amount, no increase, no decrease from the finale. But walk-up entries are still going to be available, right? They're going to start with that on Thursday when people get to the track. So there's an opportunity to add a couple to potentially hit 40 in both of those classes.
Yeah, and I think the walk-ups are going to be more in those larger categories, possibly in the K100 Junior and Senior, to where there is room. They're essentially micro and mini. Micro is capped, or mini's capped. And X30 Junior and X30 Pro are nearly capped, so they could get a couple more to get to that 40 mark. But I think if you do see any walk-ups, and we're just hoping to maybe try and get to that 300 mark, which would be astounding. But it'd be in the K100 category. So, and again, just to kind of look at the numbers that the program has kind of put out. We're talking 287 to go in this weekend, 223. Was the reigning high total after last year's finale at GoPro. The opener last year at Newcastle Motorsports Park, that was the previous number one before GoPro at 218. So we've had now 3 events over the 200 mark in the 8-year history. Before that, it was 181 was the magic number by Newcastle in 2019. So again, big numbers have continued to grow in this category or in this program. X30 Pro, we talk about 30 as it used to be the magic number. And I think that still is, because that's essentially where this program has continued to keep that number at, aside from maybe 1.5 years where the numbers kind of dwindled overall for the series. So again, just phenomenal to see 287 as the number going in.
Well, interesting to see the whole trend moving forward as well. Of the 8 now top entry numbers for the series, you said 287, this one right now being the best, 223 last year's finale. But also, you go back to last year where the opener at Newcastle, like I said, at 218, even the Road America race, again, a more of a trek up into Wisconsin at 165 entries is number 8 on the list of all-time numbers. And then you go back to 2019, and there's a couple events from 2019, as you mentioned, Newcastle and GoPro at 181 and 179 respectively. So big growth from 18 to 19, then 19 to 20, then 20 to 21 right now. So a steady amount of growth moving through here in terms of numbers, support, different teams that we've already talked about. David, let's cap off this section of By the Numbers. And I know you mentioned a bit briefly when we talked about the event schedule, but give us a little bit more insight into which categories are actually going to have LCQs and how things are going to kind of shake down there.
So Mini Swift, KA100 Junior, and KA100 Senior are the 3 categories that are going to be split up and run the LCQs for the entire weekend. Basically, what that means is after qualifying, they'll take the entire field order by fastest lap, and they'll split them down the middle with 2 pre-finals. So all the odd number or odd position karts, such as first, third, fifth, seventh in the qualifying order, will be in the odd pre-final. You put all the even result finishers in the even pre-final. So those 2 pre-finals will run. They'll take the top 16 from each of those pre-finals. They'll transfer directly into the main event. The rest of the finishers will be put into a last chance qualifier, where the top 4 in the last chance qualifier will transfer in to make it for 36 karts starting in the main event for these 3 categories.
Yeah, I would say I don't care where you are on Saturday and Sunday, but when the LCQ for KA100 Senior grids up with 28 drivers and 4 to transfer, I'd be on the fence to watch that one.
Yeah, the KA100 is going to be senior is going to be pretty intense to say the least. So because again, what happens in the pre-final is really going to set the tone and figure out where you're going to start. And if you should fall into any trouble in that, it's going to be a wild battle to get yourself into one of the top 4 positions.
What's the over under on pushback bumper penalties in the LCQ?
So I would probably say 80% of the field.
80%. That's hilarious. That's funny. All right, folks, another quick break in the action. Time to come back and really delve into a couple of the categories right now. In this next section, we'll talk about X30 Pro and KA100 Senior. We'll talk about the senior drivers, and we'll look at those grids. 38 in X30 Pro, 60 strong in KA100 Senior. Don't go anywhere. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and Arrive and Drive programs are available in 2021 for the US PKS and the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour and Super Nationals, with full product sales and service and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private, one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. Trinity Karting Group is also your Midwest home for Tony Kart and IAME, and we're your source for MG and Avinco tires in the region. Tony Kart quality cannot be beat, so call us today to put you in a new chassis for your next event. From Arrive and Drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com.
A series built by racers for racers. Stars Championship Series. If you're looking for big grids without the stress and anxiety of a national event, then look no further than the Stars Championship Series. Our events are centered around our fun and family-friendly atmosphere, and this season we'll be visiting some of the East Coast's finest karting facilities. We've got 4 stops on the tour in 2021, with opening weekend set to take place at GoPro Motorplex on April 9th to the 11th. From there, we'll head to Newcastle Motorsports Park in June, the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in July, and then to Pittsburgh International Race Complex to close out the championship in October. While April may seem far away, our season is already underway with our esports division presented by Extreme Sim Racing. You can get your weekly racing fix in our GT or open wheel divisions on every Tuesday or Wednesday by competing against karters across the country for some stellar prize packages, all for free. For more information on how to get on track in the virtual or the real world, check us out online at starschampionshipseries.com.
Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network, episode 18 of our EKN OutLap. As David Cole, myself, Rob Howden, breaking down what's going to happen. We expect what's going to happen this coming weekend at the Ocala Grand Prix facility for the opening round of the United States Pro Kart Series. David, let's start jumping into a couple of categories. In this segment of the show, we'll look at X30 Pro and KA100 Senior. 38 pre-entries for this category, potential to get to 40. And before we even go into the other list, I think you got to give props, a little tip of the hat to Brandon Jarsacrack, David, 4-time defending champion.
Yeah, it's the drive for 5. That is what begins this weekend with Jarsacrack going for a 5th straight championship at the USPKS in the X30 Pro division. Hasn't really raced much this winter. Was at actually Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend racing on a Coyote in the Cup Karts North America Spring Nationals. Was in the light and medium divisions. So I think that was his first race of the 2021 season. Did do some testing at Ocala the previous weekend before that. A number of the race teams and drivers that will be there, be here at Ocala this weekend, have done some testing or have raced at Ocala this winter already. So Jarsacrack's not coming in completely rusty, but certainly has the bullseye on his back with the 4 straight championships going for 5.
Well, for me, it's just, you sent over the spreadsheet, you just kind of scroll down through, like literally we could take an entire show just to talk about the drivers in this particular class. At the end of the 2020 season, top 2 drivers, Arias Duke-Medji and Luca Mars, both those drivers now are our number ones. They're going to be there to watch. But David, just the list of guys that you've got down here, even the rookies, like the rookie crop for 2021 is absolutely stellar. It's crazy.
Well, that I think is kind of going to be the key point. Yeah. Like what you've already mentioned, the 2 number ones for the EKN driver rankings coming back and seeing what they can do now, carrying that that belt with them and see what they can do moving forward. Obviously, Dumejian staying with Kart Republic, but racing under the Zanella Racing tent. Luca Mars moving over to Trinity Karting Group, still on the OTK with Tony Kart, but seeing kind of how that unfolds with their first event really this weekend. So that's kind of going to be one story among the stories to watch. But I mean, the rookie class is going to be the wild card, especially with the drivers that we do have coming in. And you got to begin it with Connor Zillage. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
Coming off, 2 wins at the Florida Winter Tour, one of them being at Ocala Grand Prix in the opposite direction that we're going to in this weekend, and then also winning at the SCUSA Winter Series finale. That the momentum's on his side, coming off the Academy Trophy Championship in Europe last season. He's going to be certainly a driver to watch.
Yeah, other rookies that we've had a chance to talk quite a bit about over the races that we've covered so far this season. Alex Stanfield, really impressive in his debut in the senior class in that SCUSA Winter Series.
Yeah,
had some pretty good battles up front.
Series junior rookie last year. So
exactly. Yeah,
coming in as a champion, yep. And then now as a senior rookie. So he certainly has solidified himself towards the front. Workman's going to be making his essentially senior debut at USPKS Racing junior last year. So those 2 names kind of stand out. Another one we saw in the Winter Series, Thomas Annunziata really stand out at the finale along with Zillage. Was right there battling with Zillage all weekend long, and was able to pull off a victory in K100. So that'll be interesting to see how he does this weekend.
Really, David, these are just the junior drivers we've been talking about for the last number of years, right? Alessandro DiTullio, throw him in there. John Burke, Max Opolsky, Jace Park. These guys are all top national race winners. They've done everything they could in junior. Now the time to transition into the senior. And that's what makes this category so stacked, because we already mentioned Luca Mars and Arias Duke-Medji, national number ones. We brought in Jarsacrack already. Then when you bring Jarsacrack in, you got to bring in Ryan Norberg, because we're talking about 4-time SCUSA champion, 4-time USPKS champion, the outright superstars of our sport in terms of single speed racing. And then you bring this group of juniors in that, David, these guys aren't going to be running just inside or outside the top 10. All of them have already shown the ability to run, for podiums or race wins. I think that's the wrinkle that I think is amazing here for the senior class.
Yeah, watching Burke see how he mends well with his new ride under PSL Kart, or PSL karting with the Burrell Art, and again Jace Park joining Luca Mars under Trinity. So that'll be interesting to watch. Don't count out Paulie Massimino. Again, Jarzakrak's teammate. They went 1-2 in the championship last year. So Massimino's not one to kind of not look at as well. So again, a number of drivers, and we haven't even gotten to other ones that we can mention as well too.
I know. Well, yeah, throw in Hayden Jones. I know you had a chance to watch a lot of his races last year with Nitro Kart, unbelievably strong. Colin Neal joining with Trinity Karting Group. When I spoke with Sean Bailiff on a face-to-face last week, he mentioned Colin Neal. Really happy to have Colin there as well. And then Brandon Tyner has been a guy who stepped up over the last 2 years with Rawlson Performance Group. He'll be a driver to fight for a race win as well. He will, and
to be putting out odds for this race is near impossible, because again, it is going to be like a boxing match where every lap is a round. So you're looking at 30 different rounds of fighting in this category, and again,
This is one of those races that there's going to be guys that we could have said who could have won the race who are going to finish 15th.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Or
somebody's
worse.
Or worse. Somebody's got to finish 20th.
Or not even. I was just say, or not even make it because they had to go through the LCQ.
It's
no, not this category. Sorry, that's the next one.
Yep. In K100 Senior, but say it's going to be the same thing, right? We're going to talk about the same kind of deals, and then you throw in a couple other guys that I know you added this down here. There's some guys that have moved on to cars that are coming, and guys who've had a lot of success in cars. One of them being Braden Eves, a two-time SuperKarts USA Pro Tour winner, 2019 Cooper Tires USF 2000 champion. So Eves. Then you got Victor Franzoni, who won the Indy Pro 2000 category in 2017. He's run Indy Lights, but a lifelong karter. He's worked with Orsilon Racing for a number of years. Franzoni's going to run. You throw Kiffin Simpson in there, who was a top junior. He's moving on to the Formula Regional America Series. Again, it's an all-star race. It's stacked.
Yeah, shifter guys too as well. That was kind of, I'm going to talk about it now, and then we'll talk about a couple others in K100 Senior. Coy Bailey going single speed racing. I don't think I've ever seen him race single speed, making the trip over from Arizona to race with J3 competition on the Comp Kart. He'll be in the X30 Pro division and we've seen Mateus Ramirez racing in X30 in the Winter Series, but really is known more as a shifter guy. So we'll see if he's able, again, very familiar with the Ocala facility. We'll see if he's able to contend as well.
Agreed. The bottom line is this: 38 pre-entries for X30 Pro. A couple of walk-ups make it 40, and like we said, guys, essentially an all-star race. If you look, this is going to be a big race for the EKN driver rankings, David, because you think about what the base ranking for a USPKS event. You think about a full field as another full point under that base ranking, and then the other base ranking is how many guys are in the top 50 are actually in the field. And I'm telling you, this would be impressive how many guys in the top 50 are actually in this race, because this is a stacked field for X30 Pro.
Yeah, it's going to be huge for the rankings, which should have the first edition of those out the first week of April. We have obviously been busy with a lot of things, and we wanted to get some races in, and it's actually my vacation week, so that's when we'll come out with it.
I love it. All right, we just talked about the excitement of X30 Pro. Kick it up another notch, or as they say on Spinal Tap, this one goes to 11. KA100 Senior, 60 pre-entries. David, we got a bunch of veterans. We got a bunch of rookies. A lot of the same rookies we talked about doing double duty from X30 Pro. A couple more different shifter guys decided to go down to the KA100 Senior class. But man, I got to keep scrolling on the spreadsheet to be able to find the full field.
Yeah, this is going to be the one, and we the one thing about this program, the category, it started with the USPKS back in 2017. So this was the first series to really recognize this engine, and to see where it's gone to where it is now. It's amazing. And the inaugural champion that year, Alex Bertagnoli, he's among these drivers that are going to be competing, was among the winners last year. And that was one of the key things that I'd like to see happen again this year, where we saw 6 different drivers win the 6 different rounds. I think we certainly have the opportunity to see 8 different drivers win the 8 different rounds. Because again, as we said, 60 drivers, it's just in this field alone. But you got to begin with, the champions that we've seen. Alex Berrignoli back. He's actually going back with Franklin Motorsports on the Merlin, going to be racing alongside Brandon Lemke, the defending champion at Franklin Motorsports on the Merlin. So that'll be interesting to watch these two former teammates back together again, racing under the Merlin Nation flag.
Yeah, you throw Josh Holtz in there too. Those are three guns from Merlin Nation, and that's a lot of data, David, to go together from three really, really top runners.
And three different driving styles, really, and personalities, because they certainly have, Holtz is a little bit taller, a little bit stockier. Bertignoli is probably the middle height guy, and then Lemke's the stock car guy. But he's always up on the wheel, going for fast lap every lap. So that'll be cool to kind of watch that trio go working around the table with Jamie Siraki.
Just to throw it out there, folks, we talked about the rookies, and it's many of the same rookies doing double duty. Connor Zillich, Weston Workman, Thomas Nunziata, Jace Park, Alex Stanfield, all those drivers doing double duty. The young kids can do that, David. It's not so hard on the body.
Yeah, just like Duke Medjian, going to do double duty as well. Finished second last year in the championship, won the opener at Newcastle last year. So he's going to be doing the double duty, as we saw in the winter program and all of last year. So, double duty, not very hard when you're under the age of 21, for sure.
You mentioned you have down here a couple of shifter kart guys going to run this class as well. AJ Myers and Jake French, a couple of former national number ones and a national number one right now, or at least our EKN driver rankings number one in AJ Myers. These guys going to do a little single speed this weekend.
Yeah, Myers is a former champion in the X30 category when he was with Checkered Motorsports on the PCR back in the day. Under the Magic Kart now with Checkered Motorsports this time around. Obviously is doing well on the Florida Winter Tour, so obviously get there a little bit earlier and have some fun in the massive category that is KA100 Senior. Jake French, we haven't probably really seen do a lot of single speed since he won the Road Tax Grand Nationals back in 2007.
So as I just scroll down through here, this is interesting. Nicky Coelho's coming back?
Yeah, that was one I kind of highlighted just to see. Yeah, I mean, there's no I'm assuming he could be Masters, right?
Oh yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure that back in 2000 or 1998, maybe 98 or 97 or 98, he won a WK Constructors Championship Formula A race at Charlotte.
There you
go.
So
that's 23 years ago. So he could be almost 40 for all I know. Let's not say 40. Let's say he's 36 or 37, 38, something like that. But man, that's cool to see. I think that's awesome to see Nicky come back. Of course, he went on to do win a ton of races in Formula 2000 racing as well, right?
Yeah. So one of the car guys coming back to do some karting. I think he used to race on gold chassis, right?
Jolly Kart.
Jollies, that's what it was. The Jolly Kart.
The Jolly Kart. Yeah, that what was Ocala Racing? It was their team, man. That was Nicky's a heck of a shoe, and that'll be interesting to see what he's able to do for sure. What are some of the other ones that stand out for you, DC?
Well, when you talk about guys coming back from cars, I'm talking about veterans that are in the field. Austin Osborne, a SCUSA Pro Tour champion, he'll be there. Always is kind of a threat when he has a good sled under him. Matthew Maccabee, been very good in the KA100 division for a number of years. Chase Jones, another driver. He does a lot of dirt racing, but is back with the MPG Motorsports and the Will Power Kart operation, going to be racing there. So he'll be kind of working with Eves. Eves will be doing the X30 while he'll be in the KA100 Senior and working with some other drivers in the category under the tent. So that'll be cool to kind of see, what these three drivers are going to be able to do on the weekend. But again, man, just 60 drivers, who's going to make it, who's going to have to fight their way through the LCQ is really going to be the story all weekend long.
What about potentially, at least from what I saw, of course, at the start of the season in the SCUSA race down at Homestead, Connor Ferris and Tyler Ferris for Team Ferris Racing, they showed really well in the KA100 class, as did Nolan Allison for Allison Performance Group.
Yeah, those are drivers that could be wild cards. Certainly have shown speed this winter. Obviously, Allison was among the podium finishers at the Winter Series. So again, a number of drivers. Again, more we can talk about, but just again, until they hit the track, we really don't know who's going to be able to stand out because again, there's drivers that we've talked about that could be fighting for 20th by by the time we get done here.
Oh, and they'll be grumpy in the paddock, won't they?
Oh, you got to imagine most everybody is going to be grumpy, especially those sitting out after missing it in the LCQ. So
yeah, no kidding, right?
That's going to be key because there's a lot of drivers that are looking to go for a championship, and if it doesn't start off right in round one, that puts extra pressure for Sunday to make it through on round two.
Like you said, one drop of the 8 races, so you got to get it done early. You want to hold that drop to the end of the season. All right, another quick break in the action. When we get back, we'll go X30 Junior, KA100 Junior, and X30 Master. Stay with us. More to come here on the EKN Radio Network. Everyone knows that Texas develops winning racers, and the Texas Sprint Racing Series is excited to start the 2021 season to get back to cultivating this talent. The first combined SCUSA and IKF series has been running since 2015 and was started as a grassroots effort to bring family racing back to Texas, has exploded into the largest regional series in the southern region. With 13 classes, including kid karts, and over $50,000 in prizes featuring Supernats and IKF Grand Nationals tickets, there is no better place to come race than the Texas Sprint Racing Series. This year's lineup starts with the winter warm-up at NOLA Motorsports on March 19th to the 21st. The second round, the spring roundup at NTK, will take place on April 16, 17, and 18. Next up will be the summer shootout at Speed Sports on June 11th, 12th, and 13th. And the fourth event is our midsummer mashup at the brand new Kart Moto facility in Crescent on July 23rd to 25th. Our fall finale brings us to another new for us track at Amarillo Kart Circuit on September 10 to 12. As always, our end of the year banquet dinner and raffle will be held on Saturday night of our final event in Amarillo with a free meal and lots of incredible prizes. We hope to see you join the TSRS family. For more information, head to TexasSprintSeries.com. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Welcome back to this edition of the EKN OutLap, where David Cole and I, Rob Howden, doing our preview of the upcoming United States Pro Kart Series opener at Ocala Grand Prix, the event happening this coming weekend, March the 12th, 13th, and 14th. Tim Coyne will be on the mic. And, of course, we'll be broadcasting live on the EKN Radio Network, ekartingnews.com/live for the play-by-play throughout the weekend. David, of course, putting up the results, as he always does, top 10s on Facebook and Twitter. Lots of images and video, you name it, on our Instagram channel as well. So make sure to follow all of eKarting News' social media platforms, and we'll provide you with great trackside live coverage. Again, brought to you this year by the good folks at Cooper Tires. David, X30 Junior, 39 pre-entries, another class that could easily top the 40 with a walk-up or two. champions Alex Stanfield from 2020, Brent Cruz from 2019 have all graduated up to the senior category. Kind of opens the door for some new drivers to step up and really take their place in the spotlight for junior.
Yeah, the top 5, all from last year's championship, have moved up to senior ranks. So, as you said, that's kind of the story in 2021 with the junior category, as we have a lot of opportunity for drivers to kind of step up and make a name for themselves here in this season. Noah Baker's going to be among the veterans. Paul Bocuse now with the Paralympic USA, moving over, making his debut with that team. So he's among the veterans in the junior ranks, along with Jack Jeffers at PSL Karting and Jeremy Fletcher. Christian Miles making the move over from KA 100 Junior to X30 Junior this weekend, moving also over to the Mike Doty tent. So that's going to be something new. We'll see if he's able to step up and get accustomed to that right away. So again, those are some of the kind of the names that to watch out. A new name with USPKS, Frankie Mossman, who we've seen win 3 races out at the Challenge of the Americas in the Junior Rock division, making his USPKS debut in X30 Junior this weekend. So he should be a driver to watch aboard the J3 comp cart.
A bunch of rookies coming in, and I think with that big move of the top 5 guys from last year rolling out, kind of gives David the rookies an opportunity, to be able to maybe even make a little more of an impact than they would if they came into a year where maybe there wasn't so many graduates. Cameron Brinkman, definitely a driver to watch on the Tony Kart. We've been watching Parker DeLong for the last number of years. He's a tremendous young driver, and he'll be one of the rookie stars. Sebastian Weldon's really come on over the last 2 years as well, and I would not be surprised to see Weldon kind of beat up there, battling away in the top 10, and maybe even battling for race wins with JC Karting.
Exactly. Those are going to be some of the rookies to watch. And a new name that we got very familiar with at the SCUSA Winter Series, Jacob Coular, with on the RS kart, ended up scoring a victory at the SCUSA Winter Series. He's making his USPKS debut, so we'll see if he's able to kind of mix it up and put himself towards the front of this pack as well.
Here's one to throw out here as well. Multi-time champion in the SCUSA program, Max Garcia, as well on the Will Power kart. I think he's going to be a guy really impressive to watch over the next couple of years in junior.
Yeah, that's going to be among the top rookies, certainly coming in as the mini Swift champion from last year. Garcia is on the Will Power kart, is certainly fast. Didn't quite get the Winter Series that he wanted to get with results, but everything starts brand new and fresh in Ocala for the USPKS.
Any other drivers stepping out for you here as you scroll down through the list for X30 Junior?
No, Cameron Weinberg moved up to junior last year, so this is now his second season. So we'll see if he's able to do anything. Logan Toke, moving over to Ryan Perry Motorsport. I think this might be his 3rd year now, so we'll see if he's kind of able to get towards the front, as well as Aiden Rudolph making his third season in the junior category. So with Crosslink competition. So those again, 2021 is going to be a year of some drivers that will be able to kind of stand out and put themselves out front.
I'll throw one more name out there potentially with Austin Jers as well. I think I've been impressed what he's done for the last couple of years as well. Thoughts?
Yeah, we'll see.
Did you mention him yet?
I haven't mentioned him. So we'll see if he's able to. I know he was at the Winter Series. Yeah. Was kind of mid pack through the field. But, again, Ocala starts everything brand new.
That's it. Yeah. Fresh, clean slate, right? When we do the junior categories here at the outlaps, a lot of the times we're talking about the same guys race, class by class, X30 Junior, KA 100 Junior. David, always a lot of crossover with the junior classes, running 2 categories. Let's have a little look here. 48 pre-entries in the KA 100 Junior class.
Yeah, I think this is a category where you're going to see more of the rookies kind of stand out, because we've seen a lot of the cadet drivers moving up go only the KA 100 Junior. So a little bit more of a rookie pool in this category. And we've already talked about Brinkman. We've talked about DeLong. We talked about Sebastian Weldon as well. One driver that we saw stand out at the SCUSA Winter Series, Chase Han, making his USPKS debut this weekend. So coming in as the SCUSA Winter Series champion, he's going to be among the top quote unquote rookies coming in. But true rookies such as Spencer Conrad moving up from Mini, Cooper Shipman coming up from Mini, and G3
Our heroes.
our heroes.
I could be right. I could be wrong.
Yep, our heroes coming up from the Mini Swift as well, because again, all the top 5 from last year have moved up to the senior ranks.
Dave, there's one of your to-do list items for Ocala this coming weekend. Get them to pronounce the name for us, so we can. So
at least we got G3 correct, right?
That's pretty easy. I want to get the background on G3, where that came from.
That'll be a good story.
Yeah, that's probably a good story. Yeah, there you go, folks. And again, David had mentioned the notables. I brought up Austin Jers in X30 Junior. He's going to be one I got to watch for sure in KA100 Junior. Noah Baker, we said. Danny Dzelski as well, I think, is a guy that could step things up. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how Chase Hand does, because his first real run at national level racing put a lot of time in with Rollison Performance Group, had a strong SCUSA Winter Series, as you said, got the victory at the Rock Cup event, the last Rock Cup event. So there's a lot of momentum right there for Chase Hand. Just went back to California, was able to score a win regionally this past weekend. So, a lot of confidence moving forward for him. David, let's go to the other end of the spectrum, and let's go to the single X30 Masters class that they have, or the single Masters class being X30. And we've seen a bit of a drop in Masters numbers in certain areas of the country, right? Just guys that we had guys for 10 years that have kind of gone on to do something else, whatever it may be. But 25 pre-entries here for Ocala for the United States Pro Kart Series. I like to see that, because you and I, obviously we're Masters drivers, and we'd like to see a good field.
Yeah, it's the largest in the series history. Going up from 5 from 20 last year's finale. Making it the largest of the series history. And it's just guys that are kind of finding where they want to go racing together. And this is, the USBKS has certainly been it. Only 4 race weekends, so makes it a little bit easier on the older folk in the paddock that are
older
racing.
Folk.
One guy who is not old, who is in the Masters category, is the current champion, Scott Kopp, who ended up winning 4 of the 6 races last year, coming in as the defending champion this year. We have basically the last 3 champions of the series in the field this weekend, with David Galwina from 2019 and Laurentiu Mardan from 2018. Both those drivers in the field. You have all 5 of the top 5 finishers in last year's championship in the field, including Kopp, Scott Roberts, Galwina, Alex Mueller, and Christian Vomier, all in the field as well. So
yeah, it's a stacked Masters class.
This is a stacked field. So you got all those drivers. You add in the notables that I pointed out, Mario Barrios. A Super Nats contender back in the day, Pro Tour contender back in the day, racing with Rollison Performance Group this weekend. They have a total of 5 Masters drivers under the tent. So that'll be a good one to work with with Mike Rollison, who always loves to go out and work with the Masters drivers on Friday practice. So we'll see if Rollison's got the helmet on.
Yeah, let's see that. I'd like to see that. This is most definitely probably the best field we've seen Masters wise on the East Coast, because really only one interloper coming in, right? Jonathan Silva's coming in to run with Ryan Perry Motorsport, and we know Jonathan's a front running driver in all the Masters categories. He's the only Californian. Everyone else essentially from the East Coast. I like a couple of these smaller teams too. Manufacturer importer teams with a couple of drivers. You mentioned Laurentiu Mardan for Technokart USA. He'll have his teammate Christian Vomier with him. And I don't think you can count out the guys from Solo Kart USA either. Adam Pettit and Sal Sparaccio. I think both those drivers have an opportunity to be top 10 and even on the podium if they kind of dial things in. We saw Pettit show really good speed at the SCUSA Winter Series in the past. They didn't run it this year, but in the past they did. And another driver I think we probably don't want to leave out either for crosslink competition. That's Miguel Mir.
Yeah, Miguel's shown speed, was at the SCUSA Winter Series finale, was among the podium contenders all weekend long. Again, this one is going to be a pretty good fight because it's a bull ring. A little bit, I've never driven it, but I would assume that with the hairpins going the back and forth, it does kind of get to you a little bit. So we'll see who's able to handle the conditions, because it is going to be a bit warm. So some of those drivers coming from the north, coming down south, might not be able to handle what the Florida weather is able to give them. So again, it'll be interesting to see how this class unfolds all weekend long.
Well, and I think the two storylines, I think that's a perfect one, David. Number one, we talk a lot about Masters racing, and to run at this level of Masters, you have to be committed to a certain extent, and it's going to pay off in spades to the fitness side of it, right? The physical side of it. If you're a guy that works out like crazy, works on your fitness, on your stamina, you're going to be able to be good at the end of these longer races, especially at a bull ring event at a track like Ocala. And David, you mentioned the other thing is a lot of these guys from the north have been landlocked, right? They've been snowed in. They haven't done any racing yet. I don't know that the guys from Solo Kart have done much racing. I don't know that the Techno Kart guys have been on track that much. The guys that have been able to come down to some of the other January and February events may have that little bit extra coming out of the gate.
Yeah, you just don't know. Again, some people, we're not sure exactly who was all testing 2 weekends ago down at Ocala. When there was a lot of the teams and drivers down there. So that'll be something we'll be working on during the Friday paddock pass. So we'll see exactly, who's been ready. Obviously, you got to count in the home dogs, the drivers who are very familiar with this racetrack, like a Scott Roberts, a Danny Robertson, Robert Mayer. Those guys know this racetrack like the back of their hands. So they're able to do those 30 lap stints at this racetrack for sure.
All right, last break in the action. We come back. Time to dive into Mini Swift and Micro Swift as we cap off the EKN OutLap, previewing this weekend's United States Pro Kart Series opener at Ocala.
Trader, Evans, Pruitt, Haddock, McMurray. Karting legends are created here at the Quincy Grand Prix. This is Randy Kugler, the voice of this iconic event. After being forced to cancel last year's event due to the coronavirus pandemic, the Quincy Grand Prix will be back on its traditional date on the first weekend of June. So mark June 5th and 6th on your calendar and we'll see you there. On that gorgeous late spring weekend, for the 33rd time since 1970, competition karts will once again rip around the spectacular and beautiful 1.2-mile circuit set out inside the South Park of Quincy, Illinois. This is your chance to race in front of over 15,000 spectators. The 2021 edition of the Quincy Grand Prix marks the 51st anniversary of the first time karters raced around this historic venue. To celebrate the event, a $10,000 cash purse has been established for the 4 pro classes competing on the weekend. A total of 11 categories will be competing for the unique trophy given to all race winners, the Gussie, designed and named after the original race founder, Gus Trader. Registration is now open, so don't wait, and enter now at QuincyGrandPrix.com and become legendary. We'll see you at the park.
Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on-site at GoPro Motorplex, Kart Sport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. Along with being the official race team and distributor for the Kart Republic chassis, they offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and products from the top brands in the sport, such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF bearings, and Prisma tire gauges. If you want to take your racing to the next level, they also offer driver training and coaching programs available trackside at GoPro Motorplex. They have a massive inventory, so head to their online store at kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components that you need. While you're there, check out their used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kart Sport North America. Top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development services.
All right, folks, just completed our last pit stop going into the checker here now to cap things off for the EKN OutLap, episode 18. It's March the 9th. We thank you for tuning in. David Cole, myself, Rob Howden, giving you the preview of this coming weekend's USPKS opener in Ocala, Florida. Unbelievable turnout, 287 entries in total. 5 of the 7 categories seeing pretty impressive increases in numbers. And again, a record for this series that has been gaining a lot of momentum over the last number of years. David, let's cap things off with previews of the cadet categories, and you mentioned from the get-go how crucial it is for any series to see growth and to see that, that success and maybe that support of the cadet categories. 42 pre-entries in mini Swift, 35 pre-entries in micro. Big time here in mini, and with 42 pre-entries, again, it's wide open, right? Max Garcia won the championship last year. He's moved into junior this year, and we'll try to challenge up there. Opens things up for a brand new title winner.
Yeah, it does. 4 of the top 5 from last year's championship have moved up to the junior ranks. The only one that hasn't is Mateus Oruela, who's actually racing in Europe at the WSK event, so he will not be trackside with his Paralympic USA teammates. So again, it kind of just opens the door up for drivers to kind of step up and step into to a championship contention right away before we even get to the racetrack. Oscar Iliff among those like veteran mini drivers, cadet drivers that are in the field, along with Ben Mayer, Ayrton Grimm, and Oliver Weldon are 2 others who are probably notable to kind of be among the forefront in this division.
You look at some of the drivers coming in from the West Coast. We've seen a lot of success for John Antonino and John running with the Race Factory team. He's out of Bakersfield. We saw him winning a couple of years ago as a young cadet driver at the streets of Lancaster, but really kind of getting a lot of success at the Challenge of the Americas. David, we've had a chance to watch him. You saw him again at Cal Speed for the second rounds of the Challenge. He's coming in here to battle against the West Coast or the East Coast guys. And I like that coast to coast battle.
Yeah, he and Gage Korn both under the Race Factory tent, coming out to Ocala from the West Coast. Antonino's coming in with 3 victories at the Challenge in the Americas, so certainly has the momentum and has the pace to be among the front runners throughout the weekend. I'm pretty sure this is his debut at Ocala. But again, short racetrack, very easy to get acclimated to. So
yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see him towards the front right away.
One of the interesting things, again, a really, really good crop of rookies coming up from the Micro Swift into the Mini Swift class. Let's just throw the rookie crop out there, David. Jack Iliff, of course, younger brother of Oscar. Max Christia, Kay Jager, Carson Weinberg, Asher Osteen. Again, these are podiums from Micro making their jump up into Mini. I don't know that. I think it's sometimes it's a bit tougher for the younger kids to really excel when they get to Mini. Some do, but others take maybe a year or 2, I think, to kind of get that groove up in the one class higher.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of them really at the mini level yet. This, I think, it will be all their first races, aside from Asher Osteen, who raced mini at the SCUSA Winter Series program. So for Christie, it's his first because he was racing micro at the opener. So this is his big jump up into the mini category. Iliff has been doing testing in Texas, so hasn't been really gotten that mini Swift welcome yet. So he'll be getting that this weekend, coming off the championship in micro Swift last year. But yeah, a really strong, because again, 1, 2, 3, 4 of these drivers finished top 5 last year in the micro Swift category championship chase. So we'll see exactly how they're able to adapt to not only the quicker speeds that the mini Swift has, but also the larger field, because again, up until this year, micro hasn't had probably more than 20 drivers in the field. So being up against 42 other drivers, that'll be right. Another kind of check mark to go up against.
A couple of the young ladies to watch for, of course, Sarah Bradley, Ava Hansen, all part of the action. I would expect that Kai Johnson will be in the middle of the fight as well. There's just a ton of drivers here. Other drivers coming in from Texas, like Landon Skinner, Reagan Seville. This is, again, as I scroll down, you see these young kids we've watched in micro for the last couple of years. And David, that's what's bumped this thing up to 42 pre-entries. What a field for many.
It's just kids want to go racing. That's the key part, and that's what we love. Because again, it's just numbers. Again, numbers breed numbers. Yeah. We've seen the micro kind of grow, and then now we've always kind of seen the mini at this kind of level of where it's at. But I think it's just going to continue to grow now that we're seeing the micro numbers growing to where it is now.
All right, let's move to the micro Swift category, 35 Prix entries. And David, kind of obviously a shift, right? Like you've said in so many other categories. Is it the entire group moving top 5 for micro, moving up to mini as well this year? So is it a brand new group, right?
Brand new group. Vivek Canthan was 5th. I talked about Eilif, Weinberg, Cade Yeager, Asher Osteen. Vivek Canthan was moving up, just recently broke his arm, I believe, in a test session or possible race. So he'll be out for a few weeks. Otherwise, he would have been in the mini Swift category as well.
So this really is probably a good look at what we saw at the SCUSA Winter Series when we saw Isaac Malkit go at it. Keelan Harvick, of course, making his national debut with Superkarts USA, and we'll go at it here in the USPKS as well. Augustus Toniolo from Rawlison Performance Group looks like he's going to be in the fight as well.
Yeah, I kind of put a top 5 out there because I think these will be the 5 drivers that will be probably among the favorites going into the weekend. You talked about Malkit, Harvick, and Toniolo. Gianmatteo Rousseau on the Nitro Kart. He was has been quick and getting that confidence. And then Alessandro Truchot on the Parolin. I would kind of cap them off as a top 5 that, if I were a betting man, those would be kind of the top 5 I would pick to kind of challenge throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I think you got a pretty good knock on it there. You and I watched Ashton Woon go at it as well, right? Out at the challenge and at the SCUSA races too. So I think Ashton with Team Nitro again alongside Harvick there, he could be in the middle of the scrap. But I think the 5 you came up with probably the ones really to watch right now.
Yeah, Woon's among the West Coasters that are coming over. Tristan Murphy. Coming from California, going to race under the Ryan Perry Motorsport tent. Jackson Gibson is the other West Coaster coming from Oregon under the Rawlison Performance Group tent. So Rawlison getting a few of the micro drivers under the tent this weekend. Again, a lot of these micros we're kind of learning. We don't even haven't even seen them at the racetrack, so it'll be a weekend to kind of see who they are and how they race.
I want to throw this out there and we'll cap it off here because we talked about this. You talked about the fact that in the KA100 senior category, Franklin Motorsports has got a great lineup, right? Bertignoli, Lemke, Holtz, and they're going to be sitting down with Jamie Siraki. But what's Jamie Siraki going to be like this weekend, David? Not just as a team owner of Franklin Motorsports, not just as that leader under the tent there, but he's also going to be cadet dad this weekend. As his son Brandon's racing. What do you think? How do you think Siraki's going to handle this deal? Is he going to be pacing the fence or what?
Well, that I want to see it because we've talked to him about it. He says he's not the crazy cadet dad that we all thought or hoped he would be, but until you see it, you don't believe it. So it's really Michelle. That's who his wife and Brandon's mom. I want to see how she reacts because
how she handles it.
That tells me exactly who's in charge of the race program there.
That's funny. I love it. We'll definitely watch it. Good luck to Brandon Siraki this weekend, man. Great to see him out there again. That the Sirakis have been such a fantastic part of this sport and this family.
And the great thing about it is he doesn't have a lot to live up to as far as the driver, right?
That's true. Though there's zero bar to have to jump over top of.
I mean, maybe one Pro Tour victory. That's it.
I don't even remember that. Did it happen? Probably a Masters race, right?
It was a Masters race.
I think it was Phoenix, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah. No. We give Jamie a lot of crap, but a heck of a driver, and of course, as we said, backbone, part of the foundation of the industry of the sport of karting here in the U.S.
Well, yeah, the chassis brand was started before Brandon was even born. So, that's something that Jamie's been working with over, longer than his son has been alive.
That's amazing. Yeah, no doubt. Merlin Nation, a lot of drivers to cheer for this coming weekend in Ocala. David, that wraps up the OutLap podcast. Let's just cap things off, folks. If you're ready to tune in to watch this event, we're excited about it. I think everybody in the family of the USPKS is jacked and ready to get there. I'm sure trailers are already parked and they're getting rocking. I know you head down on Thursday. Folks, if you want to listen to live coverage, I mentioned it before, ekartingnews.com/live. You can listen on your laptop. You can listen on whatever mobile device you have. And then make sure, if you're trying to follow all the action and are a hashtag kind of person, hashtag EKN at USPKS or hashtag Ocala. Are you going to use Ocala GP, David? What are you going to use?
Right now, just Ocala.
Okay.
Easier that way.
Yeah, I like it.
And then, because it used to be called the Southern State or Southern Grand Prix.
Southern Grand Prix. Yeah, I think so.
Have not been able to confirm that if we're naming it that name. So that's the one blemish right now on the event is we don't know if it has a name or not.
All right, that's a blemish. A blemish. David, temperature's getting warmer back home, but I'm sure you're excited to get back down to Florida. I love going to Ocala. I like the area. You know, you fly into Orlando, roll up to Ocala. For me, a really fun track to call the races from because there is so much action. It is the Bull Ring, right? It is the Bristol. It's the Chili Bowl. It's the Winchester Speedway. Whatever the heck you want. It's just I love the fact that it's a fast, and there's always action. Right, there's not those long straightaways where it gets stretched out. There's a ton of action, nonstop.
The Winchester, I like that.
You like that?
and you can see it all. You know that's one key element.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can see it all. Again, it looks simple, but it's not, and that's I think makes this racetrack and what will make the event so intriguing. Is just kind of watching how it unfolds because you have to be consistent, obviously, throughout the weekend. But because the fields are going to be so tight, it leaves little room for mistakes.
All right, folks, there you go. We're wrapping things up from this edition of the EKN OutLap. Thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, this will go on the EKN Radio Network, as it always does. First, we'll crank it into a podcast really quickly. Make sure you follow. If you don't see it, I'll have it pushed out on the EKN News Desk email bulletin as well. Otherwise, we are wrapped up here from our studios. Looking forward to getting down to Florida. David Cole will have coverage starting on Friday with his Paddock Insider and a happy hour with Tim Coyan, as he had mentioned. Full coverage Saturday and Sunday on ekartingnews.com/live. But again, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. More to come. But on behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.